How's it going, YouTube? Right, whilst I'm thinking about the next job of what to do, let's get some of this Dodo sound deadening on. What I've got here is the Dodo mat, a sound deadening and vibration control. These come in individual sheets. If we take one out, these are high density sheets. What the point of these are is on large flat panels like these ones, they're quite vibrating and bangy. So what we need to do is these sheets here, we need to stick them on. What that does is it increases the density of this big flat panel here. So these are just a sticky back plastic. We don't need to do it to the roof because these have already got these ribs in, so these don't resonate as much anyway. Same with the floor. But all of these flat panels here, we need to get them on. You need at least 50% of the panel covered with one of these mats. So first job, let's get these on. Right, so I've got some little roller things here so I can roller this on to make sure it's stuck on nice and well. There is a few panels that I won't be doing. One is that one because I'm putting a window in there. Same over there. I've had a little change of mind in what I'm doing here. So I'm going to put a window in this side. Right, and also on that back door there, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put one window in this side, one window in here, and not have a window on that side because it's going to have the spare wheel on the back, so it makes it a bit pointless. But all these I'm going to fit the soundproofing. Right, that's that side of the van done. I'm going to fill those with insulation as well, but I want to get every flat space done. Obviously leaving this one because the windows go in there. We'll look at the outside edges later. But for comparison, if we go to this side and we have a listen, hopefully you can hear that, and we compare it to this side, hopefully you can hear how fuddy that is. We'll do it again. Soundproofed. Right, that's both sides done. I know I said the roof doesn't need doing, but I've got loads of it and it's got thermal properties anyway, so I thought I might as well put it up. Right, so the next bit we need to get some more insulation stuffed into some areas, so let's do that. Right, since a few seconds ago, it's actually been a few weeks. I did mention in one of the other videos, I think it was the window video, that this particular video, I was kind of spreading it out a little bit so I can get all the insulation stuff together. I've bought some stuff in the back of the van. I've probably not got enough actually anyway. This Thermo fleece, this is like a recycled bottle. Let's get it open. Right, if I open this so we can have a look at it. This is a roll of this stuff. It's recycled plastic bottles. And what we're going to use that for is all of these sort of gaps where you can't get the insulation properly. We're going to stuff it in those gaps. So it's like a bit of a fleece lining to go inside there. This other one I've got, this is a Dodo thermo liner. This one's like a soundproofing stroke thermal stuff. Let's me open this one so you can see it. There, as you can see, it's on like a roll. I think it's 7mm thick. This has got the thermal properties plus the soundproofing. I don't think the soundproofing is particularly great on it, but it's the thermal properties that I want on it, because what we're going to use this for, this has got an adhesive back as well, because what we're going to use this for, I think it's a 10-metre roll, I can't remember, is these wheel arches. I'm going to cover it, and up at the front, in there, in this little cubby hole thing, all this front here, I'm going to line with that. And I think that's the only bits I actually need that for. But we'll always find a home for it. Right, also in the van, I've got some Kingspan PIR boards. You can see they're massive. At the bottom here, I've got a couple of 50mm ones. These are 50mm thick, and that one there. The ones on the top, they're 25mm, and I've got some 12mm plywood there. There's 3 sheets of that because that's going to be the plywood for all the floor. But what we've got is the 50mm stuff is going to be for up here and down there. The same across the bottom down there, that'll be 50mm. Across that top will be 50mm. Same this side, bottom down there. This one here will probably be 50mm as well. I might cut a hole out because I'll probably want to socket in there. Then there's a few points down there I need to fill up with it as well, assuming I've got enough. Right, the 25mm is going to go in the ends of the bed there, because then 25mm will bring it out to the same thickness as this. And then if I measure between that point there and the one over there, I've got more than enough what I need for my bed. So this one over here will be 25mm as well. The floor will be 25mm. We'll have a look at that later because I've got some battens. What we're going to do is we're going to stick a bit of insulation around the sides, and then we're going to do this floor. So we've got the battens, we'll have a look at that in a little while. Same with the roof. I'll do the roof in a little while as well, but this will actually be 25mm as well. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to put a strip of 12mm plywood across there to give us something to screw to. And then what you'll find is this gap here is about 25mm. So all of these spaces there, all in between, I'm going to do in the 25mm PIR. I've got no idea whether I've actually got enough. I think I've got 4 sheets of 25mm altogether, and then 2 sheets of the 50mm. So we'll find out. And also for the PIR board, I've got these little fixing things. Let's have a look at them. What these are is these little spiky things. They stick on the wall or the floor or anything. You stick your PIR board to it, so that sticks all the way through it. And then you've got these little bits here that you put on, and that holds them on. So it's using these sticky pads here to stick it to whatever you want it to stick to. And then you just cut off the excess. So what I'm going to do is inside, I'm going to stick a load of those pads all around and then cut out the PIR board and stick it on. Once that's all on, over here, I've got some silver foil tape where we can tape over all the gaps. I've also got some expanding foam, so any of the hard to reach places, like behind there and some other bits like that, I'll put some expanding foam as well just to fill in those areas. So let's start getting a bit of insulation up this side. I'll do this fleece a little bit later, because once I've got some of these I need to start thinking about the electrics and where I'm going to run some cables. So let's start sticking some insulation up. Right, do you ever have those days where you forget how much expanding foam expands? Yeah, me too. Just having a bit of a clear up. But I thought I'd show you something. What you can see is I've fitted these PIR panels and I've filled in the gaps there with expanding foam. And some of these hard to reach places like behind the wheel arches and things like that, you can see I've filled it up with expanding foam. So I'm going to tape over all these gaps, but I wanted to show you something. It's been quite a sunny day today outside, so the sun's been beating down on this van all day. It's not particularly super hot, but what I've got is I've got this topped-on thermal camera attachment thing for an Android phone. I've got a few thermal cameras. This one's quite good, actually. I'll put a link to a video I did on this up in the corner, but the point I want to show you now is I thought we'd have a quick look with a thermal camera of what this insulation does. Right, let's have a quick look. I know you can actually record on this screen, but let's just have a look with this camera. As you can see, if I look down there at the windscreen, I don't know if you can make that out in the middle. That says 39 point something degrees Celsius. So that's down in the windscreen where the sun's hitting now. If I go up into this roof space here, what you can see is up on the roof there, that's saying 30.2 degrees up in there. You can see there's some, should be some dark spots. They're 32 degrees, they're actually warmer. But if we back off and then look up at the roof's out of the sun a little bit, but I don't know if you can see that, it's still saying 26 degrees. But if we go down to the actual insulation itself, you can see it's kind of reflecting. If I stand in front of it, you can see my reflection there, look. So I'll try and avoid that reflection because that's just reflecting heat. But what that's reading now is 21.9, so it is stopping the heat from getting in here. You can see how it's a lot oranger above and below. There's the window, look. Those dark blue bits, they are the insulation that we've just fitted. As you can see there, it's maintaining about 20 degrees. It was cooler than that when I came in, but obviously I've had these back doors open a bit now and the heat's coming in. But there you are, look. You can see what the insulation's doing and how it's helping. So as you can see, insulation is not just to keep the cold out, it's also to keep the heat out in summer. That's why we need this good insulation. Right, so I'm going to carry on. I'm going to tidy up this mess down here on the floor. I'm going to get some silver tape and I'm going to cover up all these gaps. And then I'm going to get some of that recycled bottle stuff and start stuffing that in all the holes, like all these ones. These ones will be quite difficult actually because of the size of them. I'm going to stick that recycled stuff in all these kind of holes and things like that. In all the bits that I can't get the insulation in, I'm going to put that recycled stuff in. So let's carry on doing a bit of insulation and get this thing done. Right, once again, we're a few days on again, but I've got that insulation done. I've also been out to buy some wood. I've got some 5mm ply here so we can do the ceiling. But as you can see, all this is insulated now. What I am going to do is I'm going to get a little screwdriver or something, and I'm just going to put some little gaps in it, just like this, because I don't believe in vapor barriers at all. It's a van. You can't keep the vapor out. I don't care what anybody says. There's always going to be little gaps right down the back of there, or there's like little bits and bobs everywhere for the vapor to get in. Rather than trap it in there, I'd rather make some little channels just to let the airflow go through and let it out. So that's what I'm going to do. But as you can see, this is all done now. I've stuffed all this in. You may have noticed though that I've done all this and I haven't got any wires in yet. The reason for that is I'm going to design it in a way where I can wire up the van kind of afterwards. There is some wires that I've got to put in. I'll be putting those in shortly, but most of the wiring I'm going to make it so I can do it after the van is complete. I've left these bits open for now. I need to stuff those with some more of that fleece later. This is going to be the main channel for running any cables down. Over here above the door, this will be the same because this is going to be kind of a control panel area, I think. I may change my mind yet, but I'm going to stuff all that up. On the door, as you can see, I've fitted the fleece in the door, but I've not covered it up completely. That's the main reason, is because I'm going to make a board to go over all of this, and I need this bit to be accessible just in case anything needs to be repaired inside there for the door handles and things like that. So I don't particularly want to block all that up, and then if I need to get in there, it'd be a complete pain. So I've just put some tape over it just to hold that fleece in until I get that front on. I've still got these back doors to finish. I'll finish those shortly. I'll not bother videoing that. But the next job we need to do is, once I've cleared this wood out, is get that Dodo thermo stuff, the sticky one, and I need to cover both of these wheel arches, and in the inside of there we need to get that lined as well. Right, so what I've got to fit is this Dodo matte thermal liner. What this is it's just a peel and stick thermal lining. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some of this out with the scissors, and I'm going to stick it over all this and cover this up, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then what we've got to do is we've got to go up there and do the inside of that. So let's get this done. I'll be glad when this floor's done as well, because my knees really can't cope with this anymore. Right, that's both these wheel arch covers done now. What we need to do next is I need to do in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some strips and I'm going to cover all this now. I probably won't be able to get the camera in properly. So what we'll do is I'll cover all that up and then I'll show you when it's done. Right, that's this area done. What I've done is I've used the thermal liner stuff and I've put 2 layers thick, because this is a bit of a heat trap up here, so I wanted to make sure it's nice and thick. So I've done 2 layers. So it's about 15mm, I suppose, the same as this sort of stuff here. At the sides, I've used the thermal fleece and I've stuffed that into all the holes because that'll be boarded up at the sides eventually. I bought another roll of this thermal fleece, so I needed 2 rolls of that because I've still got all these side bits to do up here, and I've got the back doors to do as well, and take these covers off and do inside the back doors as well. This thermal liner, I bought far too much of it. This is like a 10-metre roll that I bought. It weren't cheap, that stuff, either. So what I might do eventually is insulate the cab properly. So if I take up all of the floor, I did this in the Volkswagen, if I take up all of the floor, I can put the thermal liner down all off across the floor, do some inside the door cards and things like that, and do some insulation in the cab. the same as I did in the transporter. So that's about all the insulation done for now. What I'm going to do, oh hang on, it's got a bit dark. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to do the floor, so we'll do that in the next video. So I think for this one that's probably about it. So if you want to see some more of this build, don't forget to subscribe, like the video if you liked it, comment below any opinions or questions or anything like that you've got, and I'll catch you again in another video. Cheers.